Hello and every good morning to Dr. Setaway. My name is Nurliana binti Ahmad Busairi and I am the first presenter. Today I would like to present about Introduction Environmental Policy. Environmental values are essential in environmental policy, but required environmental values are usually rarely taken into account in making an organizational decisions. There are two main causes of such omissions. First, the environmental impact is on the external economy. One of the environmental effects is pollutants, and second is natural resources. Natural resources which causes the resources to be less valuable because these resources are often assumed to be available indefinitely. Environmental policy can be defined as a commitment of government to laws, regulations, and other policy mechanisms related to environmental problems. In general, the environmental problems that occur are: first, air pollution; second is water pollution; third is waste management; next is biodiversity maintenance, ecosystem management, natural resources management, wildlife, and endangered species. In addition, environmental management and conservation in Malaysia has been implemented in the context of sustainable development, which has economic, social development, and environmental protection planning. The National Environmental Policy has been established to continue economic, social, and cultural progress, as well as improve the quality of life of the people in Malaysia through environmental well-being and sustainable development. The purpose of the established environmental policy is to achieve a clean, safe, and healthy and productive natural environment. Next, here there are 8 principles under the National Environmental Policy with the aim of economic development with established environmental interests. First is environmental surveillance. Second, active participation in the international community. Third, commitment and accountability role of the private sector. Next, integrated decision making, sustainable use of natural resources, continuous improvement of environmental quality, conservation of resilience, and next is environmental diversity. That's all for me. I will pass the next presenter. Thank you.
A very good morning to Dr. Tawi. I'm Sharman Ramesh. My metric number is AP104226 and today I'm going to give an explanation about environmental policy issue. First one is the global warming. Global warming is an environmental policy issue which is a type of climate change and can make the average temperature rise. It's directly linked to the greenhouse gases and it's make the greenhouse effect worse. And the effects caused by the global warming is melting of glaciers. For the human animal also can cause many problems. Due to the progress of global warming, the sea level will rise and the leading to floods, and it can damage the human life. More global warming leads to more evaporation, which leads to more rain. Animal and plants cannot easily adapt to increased rainfall. The second one is the air pollution. Air pollution is a chemical or physical or biological agent which way atmosphere normally works. This can happen in indoors and outdoors. Air pollution often caused by things, cars, factories, forest fires, and which the things we burn. The cause of air pollution is burning fossil fuel, burning coal, oil, gasoline, and to make electricity for cars and for factories. When there's a lot of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, it can make the air pollution. So the air pollution can affect our health in many ways, from making our eyes and throat itching, hard to breathe, and more than that. Third one is the water pollution. Water pollution, when things get into water, they feel like we unsafe to drink that water. Pollutants can come things like chemicals, trash, bacteria, parasites. At some points, kinds waste up and in water. Industry make a lot of waste which include dangerous chemicals and polluted hurt the environmental. They have chemicals like mercury, sulfur, nitrates, asbestos, and many others are bad for us. So the water pollution will make more acid rain, and also it can reduce the drinking water. So all the humans cannot live without water. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, good day. My name is Mr. Binti Abubakar, and my part is about the challenges on environmental policy. The first challenges is the development and implementation of legal instruments. Environmental framework laws are normally in effect in reviewed countries, and they serve as the legal foundation for subsidiary legislation. Subsidiary law, on the other hand, is frequently absent or incomplete, and implementation and enforcement are often lacking. The second challenge is the analyzed countries, a lack of governmental support for environmental issues and objectives, combined with a resource-intensive economy that has contributed to continued environmental degradation. While economic activity fell steadily during the 1990s, environmental pressures did not fall in lockstep. New issues have also arisen as a result of the shift, owing to a lack of financial resources and a weakened ability to enforce environmental legislation. The third challenge is the building competent and effective environmental institution. Institutional institutional changes have been implemented in the countries under evaluation, albeit the measures are only partial and progress is unequal, with some improvement at the national level but little at the local level. And the last challenges is the mobilizing financing for environmental priorities. In the analyzed nations, political and institutional barriers to environmental project finance continue. Current economic mechanisms are frequently geared to create money rather than to induce improvements in environmental behavior. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chun Rong and I will continue the presentation follow on how to overcome the environmental policy issues. So the first thing is to protect and restore the key ecosystem. So the nature must be treated with care, such as rivers, wetlands, seas, and forests, and mangroves that absorb vast amount of carbon, that reducing global warming. So the government must to protect the ecosystem because the climate changes, extreme weather events like tropical storms and floods are becoming more frequently. So the mangroves must protect against these storms and help absorb the excess water in wetlands. The second thing is to support the small agriculture producers. So for the meat business is also responsible for the greenhouse gas emission that will compare for the transportation sector. Most of the agriculture output is used for feeding animals rather than humans. So for the governments need to make a difference by providing small local based producers, unlike giant factory farms that need to prioritize environmental responsibility, land restoration, local community supports, and the creation of climate resilient livestock and crops. So for the third is to promote the green energy. So for the energy generation is also responsible for the gas emissions, but the government is rely on increased growth, so they also rely on increased energy consumption. So the governments are need to do something to achieve green energy to reduce the gas emissions, such as wind energy, solar energy, and also water power. So the fourth one is to combat the short-lived climate pollutants. So basically the greenhouse gases we will imagine that is a carbon dioxide. So for the carbon dioxide is a long lifetime gases in the atmosphere. So it will done the climate change very huge. So fortunately there are other toxins that will only remain in a short time period. We call that short-lived climate pollutants. So example like black carbon, methane, ozone, and hydrofluorocarbons are very short time period on the atmosphere. so the government can do something to combat the short-lived climate pollutants to reduce the climate changes. Last but not least is to rely on adaptation. So in terms of combat the climate changes, so the mitigation refer to activities that try to cut emissions that will hold the effects and lessen the severity of future repercussions. So it is crucial, yes, but in terms of cost effectiveness, the reduced emissions are preferred to the adaptation project, which is often the poorest neighborhoods. However, in the light of the fact that many people are already facing the devastating effects of climate change, it is important that to give adaptation to the attention it deserves.
A very good morning to the Dr. Shotawi. My name is Elvin Gozing. My tree number is AP190370 from section 3. So I will continue my presentation, which is the conclusion. In conclusion, the main purpose of the environmental policies is to enhance environmental outcomes, which is motivated by the pursuit of goals for greater well-being and ensuring sustainable growth. The results of this study make it clear that there are many complicated factors at play in the failure to increase environmental sustainability, with policy implementation failure at the international, national, regional, and local levels of government being a key issue. Despite the global reach of policies originating from the 1992 Real Earth Summit, the state of the global environment has continued to deteriorate. Hence, it is obvious that these policies have not been enough for fulfilling sustainability objectives, which have reached a critical stage in their shelf life. Without the existence of our environment, we cannot exist. There is no doubt about it. The current state of environmental problems, including deforestation, climate change, sea level rise, and unbalanced ecosystem, air, water, and soil contamination, is worrying. Most problems are the result of human activity, either directly or indirectly. However, all disputes will be resolved if environmental issues are properly measured and addressed in an optimal environmental policy framework. Therefore, proper environmental policies are needed to deal with all of these issues and challenges. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.